You think you're lazy, but you're not. You're not broken, you're just a little bit scared. Most laziness, or what you call laziness, is not a lack of motivation. It's not a lack of willpower. It's not a lack of being good enough. It is fear. Fear of failing, fear of looking silly, fear of rejection, fear of wasting time, fear of trying, and sometimes even fear of succeeding. More than anything, it is the fear of not being good enough. Let's talk about what is really going on. Let's talk about what laziness actually is. When you call yourself lazy, you are judging the symptom instead of understanding the underlying cause. What you call laziness is usually just a shield or a form of procrastination or a form of avoidance. You could even say it's a form of self protection. You are trying to protect yourself from having to go out there and try. You're trying to protect yourself from failure. You're trying to stop yourself from being rejected. And you are, in a sort of roundabout, strange way, trying to look after yourself. Your brain is basically saying to you, if I don't try, then I can't lose. If I don't go out there and try, then I can't be rejected and I can't fail and I won't look silly. It's a form of safety and comfort. You're not lazy, you are defending yourself. In other words, procrastination is often self protection that we call self sabotage. That's why I try not to use the phrase self sabotage on this channel. I try and say you're just trying to protect yourself. You're trying to keep yourself comfortable and somewhat complacent. But the thing is, if you keep labeling yourself as lazy or unmotivated or not confident or any of these other sort of like safety words, your brain starts to believe it. It becomes a self fulfilling prophecy. You literally start to think, I am lazy, and why would a lazy person take action? I am lazy, and lazy people don't change. And so you become the very thing that you are describing yourself as. You literally will it into existence, you make it happen. And the second you start to say or continue to say, I'm lazy, I'm unmotivated, I'm not good enough, I'm unworthy, I'm unlovable, all of these sort of things, you are literally telling yourself, why would I bother? Because again, lazy people don't take action. That is the definition of lazy. And so when you say, I'm lazy, why would you then go and be the person that takes a ton of action and kicks ass and achieves goals? You literally make yourself lazy by the words that you use. I often say words are magic spells. You basically cast a magic spell on yourself, like Harry Potter. You're like Lemgardium Leviosa, but you're saying, I am lazy, and then you make it come true. The same as when you say, I am unworthy, or I am not good enough, or I am unlovable, or I am too old, or I am too fat, or whatever it is that you say, you literally make it true. And then you end up not taking action, not because you're lazy, but because you've convinced yourself that that's who you are. You're not lazy. You have just built an identity around avoiding pain and keeping yourself safe and comfortable. I wrote an entire article about this called Why Most People Quit Self Improvement, or I guess don't even try in the first place, comfortably uncomfortable. And I talked about how a lot of people in life call themselves lazy or they're avoiding any hard work because they just want to be comfortable. It's not that you're lazy. It's not that there's anything wrong with you. You are just seeking comfort. And why do we avoid discomfort? Well, maybe it's obvious because it's uncomfortable. And a lot of the time we associate uncomfortable with dangerous or bad or something potentially awful could happen. And we avoid discomfort at all costs. You've probably been burned before. You've probably felt judged. You've probably felt rejected. You've probably had some people in your life be unkind to you. You've probably tried some things and at first you didn't succeed. You labeled that a failure. You labeled yourself a failure and you felt really bad. Like we are all human beings. We have all been through these things. And through that process, you probably learned that trying hurts. Really, really, really trying leads to failure. Really, really, really trying leads to rejection. And so now you avoid it. And now, whenever you think about doing something or starting something or going out there and achieving your goals, your brain sort of flashes that memory of the time when you failed or you were rejected or you were hurt or you felt a bit silly or you got yelled at or the other person told you it's not going to work, you're being silly. You feel that embarrassment and that rejection and that disappointment. and you remember it very vividly. Our brain tends to hold on to those sort of memories. They become like a core memory. So instead, you avoid. You doom scroll, you mess around on YouTube, you play around on Instagram, you look at porn, you play video games, you tell yourself you'll start tomorrow, and you avoid. And so it's not that you're lazy, you're just avoiding discomfort. This is fear avoidance. Your brain is basically saying, I'm just scared of getting hurt again. All right, so how do you start to break this cycle? The very first step is to let go of shame and guilt and let go of judging yourself. In other words, stop calling yourself lazy. Stop beating yourself up. Stop putting yourself down. Stop feeling guilty and ashamed for all the things you're not doing. Stop doom scrolling on social media and looking at all the people who are supposedly better than you. Stop looking at them and comparing yourself to them. Comparison is the thief of joy. And step 2 is to get curious, genuinely curious, without judging yourself, and literally say, what am I scared of? What am I afraid of? What am I really worried about? Am I afraid of looking stupid? If so, could that be okay? What bad thing happens if I look stupid? What fear is underneath that? What am I really afraid of? And with an open mind and a curious mind, dig a little deeper. Am I afraid of failing again? Am I afraid that I'll always be a failure? Am I afraid that other people will judge me and I'll feel embarrassment and I'll feel stupid? Well, what bad thing happens if I feel embarrassment? It's just a feeling. It can't hurt me. Am I afraid that I will prove myself right, that I really was lazy, that I really was a loser, and so I try not to take any action because I just don't want to confirm that? Dig a little deeper and start asking some questions here. And I have an entire video course about this called the Play to Win video course. And in this course, there's this chapter here which literally helps you start working through your fears. Like, how do I start to overcome my fears? I notice my fears, but then I take action anyway. I literally have step-by-step instructions in here in how to start overcoming some of these things that you're really, really, really scared of. And you'll see that the very first step is to give yourself permission to suck. You don't have to be perfect. It's okay if you make some mistakes. Really, they're just learning lessons. It's okay if you look a little bit silly. That's okay. And you basically say exactly what I've said here in this video. You say, what is the worst that that could happen? What am I so afraid of? Are there times in the past that I sucked at something the first few times I tried it? I failed, I looked a little bit silly, but then I got better and I improved with practice. Could this maybe be just like that? Are there other people who kind of sucked at the start at this same goal that I want to achieve, but then they improved the more they did it? Plus, if I really do suck at this start and I look a bit silly and all of that, can I find ways to improve? And I have another chapter in there on how to improve. And a mindset that has really helped me is to run towards my fears. That might be a little bit intimidating for you at the start, so you can just slowly take one baby step towards your fear. And I even say that. Take just one baby step towards your fears. And again, I have other chapters in this video course that address how to do that. But the more you are able to gently start walking towards those goals with tiny little baby steps, the more you will start to overcome this limiting belief of I'm lazy. And that's all it is at the end of the day. It's just a limiting belief. So I'll leave a link down below to the Play to Win video course in the description below. It's $40. If you can't afford it, you don't have a lot of money, that's fine. Just shoot me an email and I'll give it to you at a discounted price. Like, that's completely okay. But I really recommend for those of you stuck in fear that you check this out, especially the chapter on fear. And if you want even more help with this, I'm right here. I have several coaching options. Those are all down below in the description as well. I'm here to help. And I want to make something very clear here. None of this requires you to just like fix everything today. You don't have to suddenly become this hardcore, disciplined, ass-kicking warrior. No, you take one tiny little baby step. You take one little step towards your goal. And if you're that scared that you can't even take a baby step, like if that just terrifies you, then you take an even smaller step. You break that baby step down into an even tinier baby step. So for instance, for those of you guys who want to go outside and talk to some women, you want to build a beautiful dating life, you want to meet some wonderful women, have some amazing adventures together, but you're way too scared to go outside and talk to a woman that you don't know. The idea of that just utterly terrifies you. And you're like, there's no way in hell I can do that. Okay, walk around outside and just start thinking about saying hi to a woman. Imagine what you might say to her. Imagine how the conversation would go. Imagine the first words out of your mouth and imagine asking for her phone number. Just start imagining it. Literally start thinking about it as you walk around and as you go about your day. And if you do this every day, which is something that literally every man can do, all of you are capable of going around outside and thinking about saying hi to a woman. If you do this for enough weeks, every single day, eventually you get to a point where you're like, okay, I've been walking around thinking about this. Screw it. I'm just going to do it. And you do it. You walk up to a woman, you're nervous as hell, and you say, hi, I thought you were kind of cute and I wanted to come say hi. Are you single? And before you know it, you're able to do it. But you just start with that tiny little baby step of thinking about it. Or if you want to start going to the gym, but you are so unbelievably intimidated by all of the handsome and pretty, beautiful people in the gym, and you feel like you don't belong, okay, your baby step is to drive to the gym, sit in your car in the parking lot, just sit there for 10 minutes and then drive home. Congratulations, you took one baby step. Or if even that terrifies you, just Google gyms in your area. And that's all you have to do. You don't have to go to one. You don't have to sign up for a membership. You don't have to work out. Just Google the gyms that are in your area and find one or two. Or if your goal is to get a better job, you're not happy at your job. Often I will say to people, you're allowed to quit your job if you want to. And all the defenses come up, all the protection comes up. And it's like, I can't. It's too scary. I can't. Okay, that's okay. What if you just start Googling other jobs in your industry? What if you just start brushing up your resume a little bit? What if you open up your resume and look at it for 30 seconds and just start editing it just the tiniest bit? And so you can see with these examples, what I'm telling you is you don't have to do a whole lot. You can give yourself what is known as exposure therapy, where you just do a tiny little bit at a time and you start to expose yourself a little bit in a very safe, comfortable way. You start to expose yourself to the thing that you're afraid of or that you're fearful of. And eventually, through that exposure, through just starting to get closer to the thing that you're scared of doing, just edging your way forwards towards it, just kind of getting a little bit close, but not too close, not too close. You're scared. You're scared and you think you're lazy. You don't have to get too close. That's okay. But you just start getting a little bit closer and you find that that fear fades through exposure, not through thinking or through being this hardcore masculine guy or this hardcore, like, ultra, I guess women can be masculine too, this hardcore like ass kicking warrior. No, you just take tiny little baby steps and get a little closer. And that's literally all I do in my coaching programs. I just get people to take a tiny little baby step towards their goal. We don't have to get too close. You're scared. That's okay. We're going to take a little baby step and we're going to celebrate the hell out of that baby step. We're going to be so freaking proud of you. And I want all of you to be proud of yourselves. If you take one little baby step, celebrate it. Write it down below in the comments and we'll help you celebrate. Talk about what you have done, the little baby step that you took. And that is how we start to break this cycle of I'm lazy. Really, you're just scared. And that's okay. And the thing that helps more than anything else that I've ever found is to give yourself permission to suck. You can't overcome fear by just waiting until you feel ready or waiting until you're confident. That isn't how this works. You overcome your fear by doing it while you're afraid. Courage isn't the absence of fear. Courage is feeling the fear and doing it anyway. Lazy people, or people who call themselves lazy, are really perfectionists in disguise. They want to skip the awkward beginner phase. A lot of you are so afraid to fail or to look a little silly or to not know what you're doing, you wish you could just leapfrog ahead to the point where you're confident and you're charismatic and you know what you're doing. But that isn't how this works. The way that you become confident or the way that you become disciplined is by sucking at the start. And so give yourself permission to be bad at it for now. You will improve with practice. You will improve with time. Let yourself be human. And human beings are not good at things when they start them, because that is how you actually start, by giving yourself permission to suck and just taking a little baby step without worrying about being perfect. And all of this is the stuff that I help guys with in my coaching program. It's understanding the difference between fear and failure and learning to act anyway. If you're ready to stop judging yourself and jump in there and actually take some action and move forward, I have several options for coaching. Right now, I'm offering a 50% off discount on all my coaching. So the VIP group coaching program is currently 50% off. One-on-one, where you work directly with me, is currently 50% off. And if you need the more affordable option, we have our Abundance Collective for $200 a month. So any of those options will absolutely help you take that guilt and that shame and that fear and turn it into self-belief so you can actually start to achieve your goals. I'll leave a link down below to all of those. We have payment plans for the big hardcore coaching programs, so you don't have to let money be an excuse. You don't need to be fearless. Let us help you. So what is the takeaway? You are not lazy. You're just scared, and that's okay. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's about feeling the fear and taking a little baby step anyway. Stop calling yourself lazy, because the more you say it, the more you start to believe it, and then you literally take less action. You make it come true. Start calling yourself brave enough to try, and then go out there and prove it. I believe in you.